Good morning, everyone. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot, back with you for another Mystery Monday video this morning. I hope you all had a wonderful sunny weekend. So today we are going to take a look at one of the suites that is in the new catalog, and the name of the suite is actually called He's the Man, and it's a really spectacular suite for all of the gentlemen in your life. You can find it on page 78 and 79 of the new catalog, and this is the stamp set, which is called He's All That, and you also get some designer paper and some metallic adhesive back dots in the suite. So these are some fabulous samples here that, just if you're ever stuck for inspiration, definitely go to the catalog, because there are some fabulous samples in there that you could just easily create, and the work is done for you. So always a really great resource. So I'm just going to give you a quick look at this designer paper. So this is the stamp set, first of all. Some really great images in here. And these are the dies. So it is a foam mount set. And you have some nice sort of dies for the greetings and different images in the stamp set. So the designer paper is really fun. Really sort of a nice masculine color palette to it as well. So you get 2 sheets of this DSP. So the first one has some really cute barbecue images with little pigs and cows and utensils and things, and it has a bit of a shimmer to it, which is kind of interesting. And the back is just a simple sort of Cajun craze striped diagonal. And then you have this great vintage car sheet, which has got motorcycles and ladybugs, bug cars, and really vintage cars to it. And just a very subtle pattern on the back. And then maybe for a more of a businessman type, you've got the ties and the glasses and the mustaches, different really cute images here. And then a very simple espresso sort of checkered pattern on the back. Got this beautiful rich diamond pattern here, and more of a simple pattern on the back. And then the last sheet is a camping for all the campers in your life, which is really fun, with tents and campers and campfires and things. And then the back is a very simple, very rich sort of plaid motif. Now, there are only 10 sheets of this, so you get 2 of each of these patterns. But what's really interesting in this is you get 2 sheets of fantastic die cuts. So aren't these just so fun? You've got some great greetings in here, and these just pop out so you can stick them right onto your card. For all kinds of ones. You're a classic, you're a champ, you're stronger than you know. And so if you were wondering, I'll just show you again in the catalog where some of these images, like those weren't in the stamp set. For example, some of these on their samples, these are simply some of the die cuts that they punched out and put on top of the cards. So if you don't have time to stamp or whatever, you can just sort of get your designer paper, some cardstock cut, and put on the die cuts to make your cards. So that makes it quite simple. And this is something new that I don't think Stampin' Up! Has really done with the DSP before. So I think this is a really cool addition to it. Okay, so I'll show you today's project, and it is this one. I saw this idea from Diane Inkster, who is a fabulous Canadian demonstrator in Manitoba, and she got it from another Canadian demo called Diane Hutchinson. So I'm sort of casing what they had done, and you can make this card with any variety of colors or DSP. You don't have to make it to be a masculine card. You could use different DSP and turn it into a feminine card as well. So we're going to call this a double flip fold card. I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's what we're going to call it. So basically you open one flap and the second flap, and you could write your greeting in here. Or if this wasn't enough space, you could add a piece of basic white on the back and write your greeting there. Now, it isn't like a typical card where it opens, right? It's just sort of a one-panel card with these additions here. So if you wanted to turn it into a regular card, you probably could. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to show you how we're going to put this version together and see how that all comes together. So I will post these measurements because I have done the pre-cutting here. So for the base, I chose a piece of Early Espresso, and that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that's all you need. And then I'm going to attach a piece of Sahara sand, which is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to put that on top of the base right here. And then we're going to just set this aside because we do have another layer that is 5 by 3 3/4 of Early Espresso. But it's this piece that we're going to have to attach our flaps to, and then we will attach it to the bottom base. Okay, so we're going to set the base aside and set this aside for a minute and work on the flaps. Okay, so for this right flap here, we have a piece of Early Espresso, and that is cut at 4 by 3 3/4. And on the 4-inch side, I scored it at 1/2 inch. Now you could score it just at 1/4 inch if you like. I kind of like the sturdiness of a 1/2 inch. So you're going to just fold that on the score line. Give it a good burnish with your bone folder. Okay, so that when it gets attached, it will be your flap here. Okay, so then on top of that, we are going to put a piece of that really fun designer paper. I'm going to use the Vintage Cars, and this piece is cut at 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. So if you are using any sort of a directional paper or a paper with a pattern, make sure you've got the correct the measurements going in the correct way. If I grab my paper trimmer, I can show you. I do have adhesive on here now, but it would be, let's just measure this quickly. It would be 3 1/4 this way and 3 1/2 this way. Okay, so 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. And let's just stick that on top of this espresso, and then we can attach this first flap. So what I'm going to do on the inside here, I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape because I don't want this to come off. And it's nice and sturdy. You could use liquid glue. That's also a very strong adhesive as well, the Tombow. Just don't use a ton of it because you don't want it seeping out of the edges. So then on that espresso piece that I showed, you're going to decide whereabouts you would like this flap to be. Do you want it higher, lower? There's no right or wrong. I'm going to kind of put mine a little towards the center. And I'm going to line this up here. Let's do it this way. So the crease, I'm going to line, it's the easiest way, maybe actually this way. I'm going to tuck that crease right to the edge and then give it a press so that tear and tape seals on the back. And then you have your first flap. Okay, so now we'll do the second flap. So again, I've used espresso. And this piece is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. And on the 3 1/4 side, you're going to also score 1/2 inch on the left. Okay, I'll give that a little burnish, like so. Fold that over. And then I added an extra layer to this because I want to stamp an image. So first of all, I'm going to attach just sort of one of the subtle pieces of that DSP. And this is 2.5 by 2.5. And it has the cars on the back. If you want to use the same pattern, you're certainly welcome to do that too. Okay, and then I have a piece of basic white, which is 2.25 by 2.25, but this is where I want to do a stamped image. So in this stamp set, we have some really cute ones, Together for the Long Haul, Every Day with You is Another Adventure, Holy Smokes, You're Amazing, It's Good for Father's Day, Wishing a Happy Father's Day, Hello Handsome, To the Man Who Does Everything. That would be a little bit larger, but I'm going to use this one. Happy Birthday to a Classic, because I'm going to give this card to my dad, who is turning the ripe age of 96 this week, and he is definitely a classic in all the right ways. So I'm going to stamp that image in espresso. And I'll just sort of center this here, like so, which is really cute. And he loves these old cars. He used to own a car, I'm sure, that looked like this back in the day. Okay, so we will put that on top here. Just make sure your fold is on the left. So another take on a fancy fold card. All right, so now we're also going to put some adhesive on this inside flap here. Okay, I'll peel that off and grab this. And again, you're going to decide, where do you want this positioned? I'm going to keep it sort of centered. Push that right to the edge and give it a press so that adhesive sticks. So now you have your flap. So I'm also going to add a piece of basic white on the inside so I can stamp a little bit of a greeting. So this piece, I believe, is 3 3/4 by... I'll have to write that down. I'll have to double check that, but it will be listed. I'll measure this for you. Actually, maybe I can just measure this on my paper trimmer quickly. So it is 2.5 by 3 3/4. 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to stick that here on the inside. And so when you fold this, it should cover that white, right? And you can open it up and read the greeting. So now I can attach this onto our base. So I'll just use our Stamp and Seal for this. If I put enough on it, I'm going a little overboard, but it is a little bit heavy, so you want to make sure, or you can use your tear and tape as well. But just because of those little folds and flaps, that makes it a little bit heavier. And we will do that. And last thing I want to do is add some of those metallic dots. So this is what they look like. There are new rustic metallic adhesive back dots. They're part of the suite and they come in different sizes. So I did use some for my samples. So I'm going to use some more, and I'm just going to add these to the front here. Oh, they're getting stuck to my finger instead of my take your pick, but that's okay. And one more. So we'll just move this up a little bit. And there you go. There is your double flip fold card using the He's the Man suite, a really, really great masculine suite for anybody that is looking for some great images for masculine cards. I know these can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge because we have a lot of different floral images, but sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to come up with a nice masculine card. So I hope this will help you in that. And I also still have a postcode for May. And it is WH3JNTFA. You're welcome to use that at checkout on my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net. And you're also welcome to follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, and my YouTube channel, all known as Christine Stamping Spot. And I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel while you're there. There's also some other great techniques and cards that are posted there that you might find interesting. So I hope you enjoyed that project, and we will see you again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.